$110,000 worth of student loans.
$60,000.
$37,000 in student loans.
$30,000 in debt.
Students across the country are protesting rising student loan debt levels.
Total outstanding student loan debt stands at a staggering $1.2 trillion.
College debt is through the roof. One of the things that we're finding is that a lot of our students may start, but because of the finances, they don't stay. We have some students that are academically, they're solid, so I would recommend them to go out. And if some students are not so strong in their fundamentals, I may have them start at a two-year college. For instance, Platonic Community College or Norwalk Community College or Gateway, and then have them transfer out. We do encourage them to go to college, but again, it depends on each student. There's some kids that, they're not ready for college, or they're just not college bound, you could say. So I would recommend a trade school.
I want to save my parents money by going to my two-year school, just because my brother got his four-year degree and I saw how expensive it was, and I knew that I can get the credits for just as much with the same education for less. So that's why I did that, and I went back to get my four-year degree just because it's important.
All kinds of people are going back to college, and some of them have mortgages, and they have children, and they have other financial pressures as well.
I mean, you really can't leave this profession and go with an associate's. You have to have that certificate in order to get anywhere.
But most of the good jobs require a higher education of one form or another. And you know what we are saying to the young people of this country? We are saying that if you are low income or moderate income, you better think twice about whether or not you're going to go to college.
Well, I think fundamentally loans are important because if not, we wouldn't be able to, most people wouldn't be able to afford a car, a house, or college. In terms of talking about, the current state of college loans, I think you really have to look at the process before you get into it because, it's a ton of money and you have to look at the situation you're going to be in because if that you're on the hook for that money. So when you see that huge hundreds of thousands of dollars and you think, well, I'll worry about that in 4 years, I think people really have to start thinking about that earlier and figure out, am I going into a field where I'll be able to pay that off? Because very quickly they come knocking, asking you to start paying them back. And ultimately that's what we're here for is, get an education, sure you get the experience of college, but afterwards you want a job that will be able to pay back that loan.
If you need the loans, you're taking it out of, say, a state or an institution to begin with, so you're taking their money for your own education, which in a way kind of sounds bad, but at the same time, you're bettering yourself. In a way, I kind of feel that, people are blindsided for the fact that they're not realizing how much they're gonna owe in the future. I'm about to be in the academy for NYPD, and New York City Police pays for schooling. So once I'm in there, I will attend a grad school like I want to. I know for a fact there are a lot of people that don't attend grad school due to the fact that they don't want to keep adding on to their loans. It sucks because they want to better themselves and get higher up jobs and whatnot, but they just can't afford it.
Well, I just see it firsthand. I mean, all of my friends pretty much have debt, or that's why they're not in college, because they want to start a life. It's either choosing a life or paying debt. So a lot of them choose to have minimum wage jobs or a little bit higher and settle for that.
Like New York State, people go to SUNY schools because A, the tuition's cheaper, and B, you won't have that, large amount of student loans. Otherwise, anyone who goes out of state thinks they can afford it and realizes that they don't halfway through. Things are tough.
I think everyone who goes to a public college or university should be able to do that without having to borrow a penny to pay tuition.
No such thing as free education, because you know that ultimately somebody else is going to be paying for that education.
Right. You should always think about what sorts of loan debt you can take on. As Anthony was saying, $29,000 is the average loan debt that students are taking on. That's for public and private colleges across the states. So when we start to think about taking out a loan for school, we have to make sure that's the right loan for you.
That's why it's good to plan and have a financial plan. By the time you graduate, you should be able to have the skills to financially set yourself up so that you don't have that problem, your children don't have that problem. So I think it's important to have education, but I also know it's a struggle. And, that's why I think we need help from the state to have funding for kids, to have at least a guideline on how to deal with it or how to manage their money and how to pay it off as quickly as possible, because it can be done.
I mean, it kind of sets you up for the real world. I mean, you're going to be paying things off to begin with. Student loans just is one more stressful thing to add on, but it's what life is. You're always going to have to pay something off. Everyone is just all about giving and getting back.